Hey, what's going on people? It's SGZ here from the Spartan Game Zone, and in this video I'll be counting down the top 10 recently buffed legendary weapons in Borderlands 3. October brought us a number of big weapon buffs, transforming some into machines we wouldn't even recognize, and putting others back where they deserve to be. So if you're looking for any changes to the meta, this is the video for you. Look out for the top 10 weapons for Mo's next week, but today I'll be telling you what happened to these buffed guns, where you can get one quickly, and how you can maximize their damage. Let me know in the comments what buff you were most pleased with, and if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like, or hey, maybe even subscribe, and let's crack into it. We open this countdown of the top 10 recently buffed legendary weapons of October 2020 with the Conference Call, a Hyperion shotgun that has an increased chance to drop from Judge Hightower. You fight around here in Lectra City. The Conference Call can come in any element, including non-elemental, has a decent mag size, decent fire rate, and does decent damage, although still more than before. Its unique effect remains from Borderlands 2, which causes adjacent pellets to spawn perpendicular of the initial shot. These travel for a few meters before disappearing, and can be good while mobbing, although it is a traditional bossing gun, but still lacks in that area. Although its unique effect doesn't shine as bright as it did in Borderlands 2, it is still useful in standard situations, and it easily procs kill skills and abilities on various characters. Moving on to the Laser Sploder, an elemental Torg assault rifle that can come in all of the flavors and has an increased chance to drop from King Bobo. You fight around here in Voracious Canopy as part of the quest Rumble in the Jungle. The Laser Sploder is a unique weapon as it doesn't fire traditional bullets or explosives in the case of Torg, but fires a constant laser beam with the occasional rocket thrown in. The rockets are fired every 0.4 seconds, dealing splash damage and a decent amount of it too. The laser bends at medium ranges, making it a bit awkward to aim, and the rockets fly out willy-nilly and don't often land where you think they'll land, making it better at closer ranges. It's the perfect gun if you find your enemies can't see straight and they need laser eye surgery. I mean, Dr. Z isn't around, right? I haven't seen him, so someone has to do it. It's just a shame that your equipment is faulty and spirals out rockets occasionally, ruining all your hard work, but hey, that's just part of the job. It's probably best on Mo's who can amplify the damage of the rockets, and in a splash damage build, they definitely pack a punch. The Destructo Spinner finds itself in 8th place, a submachine gun similar to the Florentine in Borderlands 2. It comes in all of the elements, deals splash damage, and has an increased chance to drop from the Go-Go Power Troopers. You fight around here in Atlas HQ. The Destructo Spinner is a melee one gun which seems to have gotten its elemental switch stuck, because like the Florentine it deals the damage of 2 elements simultaneously. Orbs of energy spin out of its barrel charged with elements the gun is attuned with. That means you can freeze people and burn them at the same time, keeping them at a constant agonizing level of equilibrium before they crumble and fall. It's random what element comes out, and flicking the switch doesn't do anything, so how the elements work together is important. With the right combination at work, you can deal some solid damage and introduce your enemies to a flurry of elemental bullets in a short space of time. Now to the Flood, a Jacob's pistol which has an increased chance to drop from Lagromar, a mini-boss from the quest Demon in the Dark, and you fight him around here in Conrad's Hold. The Flood is your typical Jacob's pistol, but you can hold down the trigger and more than one bullet will come out. With it you can rain down a bombardment of bullets that'll tear through your target. It fires at over 11 rounds a second and has a quick reload time to go with it. However, its recoil is quite violent and can be hard to control, making it difficult to consistently hit criticals. Not only did it have its damage increase, but its mag size as well, allowing you to fire off more rapid rounds before you have to reload. It's best on flak as he can make extra use of Jacob's traits and have your shots count as crits even when they're not. Outside of flak it's still good, but certainly shines the brightest in the hands of the Beastmaster. The Craps is in 6th place, a Torgue pistol that has an increased chance to drop from Jackpot, the final boss of DLC 1, and you fight him on top of the VIP tower. The Craps, like most of these guns, had an increase purely to its damage, which was nice to see. Like a few weapons in DLC 1, your luck has a role to play in the damage you deal. That's because it typically just fires the one shot as you'd expect, but also occasionally fires 5 for no extra cost in ammunition. The 5 projectiles are fired in a circular pattern and deal a boatload of damage. They occur every 6 or so shots and heavily increase its overall DPS. It can come in any element including non-elemental, and with the 2 firing modes, Sticky and Impact. I find Impact to be the best while mobbing for that instant satisfaction, but Stickies will work there too. It's certainly best on Mo's due to her ability to increase the damage and size of each explosion. A single rocket deals enough damage on her, but when that's raised to 5, that damage is insane. The Psycho Stabber could have gone anywhere on this list, but it found a home in the middle. It's a COV pistol that deals terrible weapon damage but great melee damage, and you can only get one by defeating Borman nades. You fight around here in the Meridian outskirts. The Psycho Stabber finally lives up to its name, becoming the highest close contact melee weapon in the entire game, having had its melee damage raised to a whopping 340%. If you want to get close and whisper fa 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 in your enemy's ear while they ask qu'est-ce que c'est, then this is the gun for you. In a melee setup, the Psycho Stabber supports some whopping damage numbers, but you can stab your enemies directly in the soul and watch as they just disappear. It's a little bit ridiculous, but boy is it satisfying. If you want to make the most out of it, you want one with the 390 anointment to boost its first hit damage, and it's definitely best on Flak or Amara, but any Vault Hunter will find some joy slicing and dicing with the Psycho Stabber. At number 4 is the Sleeping Giant, a dull SMG that can come in shock, fire, corrosive or kinetic, and has an increased chance to drop from 1 pump chump. You fight around here in Letra City. He is locked behind a puzzle, and to solve that you want to do it in the order shown here. After completing it, he will then appear out of the door, and you're all set. The Sleeping Giant gets its name perhaps through its unique effects, which lie dormant until activated. Those effects include increased reload speed, damage, a fire rate boost, and increased handling and accuracy. The damage buff can be applied twice, and you have the chance to apply any of these bonuses simply by reloading. Where the Giant truly emerges is through the chance to apply every single bonus, which was raised to 33%, and when you're lucky enough to activate them all, the Sleeping Giant will crush any opposition. Along with the raised chance to apply all bonuses, the Sleeping Giant also had its weapon damage bonus increased and had its mag size doubled. There's no doubt that it's a beast when all bonuses are applied, and it's good in between those times too. On a bottomless mags mode, you can extend the life of each magazine and stay at the peak of its powers for extended periods. However, unlike the Lucky 7, there is no indicator showing which bonuses you get, so you'll just have to try your best to be one with the gun. Number 3, and it's the Redline, a Torgue shotgun that can come in every single element including non-elemental, and can only be obtained from Road Dogg, who you fight over here in the Splinterlands. It's a unique Torgue weapon firing 4 pellets per shot with a mighty fire rate, particularly for a shotgun. It doesn't just rock a V6, it rocks a V12. You'll need to reach its rev limit before you change gears, and when you do, it'll charge off the starting grid. By that I mean it needs to be charged before firing, and once fully charged it'll release its ammunition until you let go of the trigger. Those bullets fly out of its barrel at a rapid rate and will easily overwhelm your target. Because it's a Torgue gun, it comes with 2 firing modes, Stickies and Impact. I'm using the Impact mode here as I find it to serve better while mobbing, and in that situation it's great. Stickies on the other hand are made to bring pain, to put to rest those who have stood for 1,000 years. Because of its fire rate and the way subsequent stickies increase in damage as they explode, the red line can gear up for some serious damage delivery. That makes it fantastic against bosses, and you'll want to buff up its mag size as much as you can to maximize the damage you deal. That's easy if you're Moze, who can down them in one mag without batting an eye. The Maggie sits at number 2, a great companion to any build. It's another pistol made by Jacobs and can be obtained the fastest from Turkey Tim, who you fight around here in Floodmoor Basin. The Maggie received a big 70% damage buff which catapulted it out of the rut it had been in since DLC 3 and back to where it's been for most of the game's lifecycle, that is at the upper echelon of the pistol tier. It's a shotgun pistol firing 6 pellets per shot with 9 bullets in its magazine. Each shot deals heavy damage, and if you have a finger like the Sundance Kid, you can shower your enemies with damage dealing rounds at lightning speed. The multiple pellets make ricochets deadly and also help to proc the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge and kill skills with great effect. It can always be counted on to bring the pain. If you dropped it in a puddle, that's no trouble. The Maggie will dust itself off and make sure what needs to be done gets done. We're here, we've made it, number 1 gang has arrived, and it's the Skullmasher, a Jacob sniper rifle that you can find in DLC 2, and get the quickest by defeating Esther as part of the Wii/Quest questline, and you fight him around here in Skidamore Basin. The Skullmasher is a multi-pelleted Jacobs weapon like the Maggie, but in sniper rifle form. 5 pellets are encased in each buckshot round, with each of them dealing high damage. It always had a high rate of fire, but now thanks to its mighty buff it has the damage to go with it, and its recoil has been reduced. It mashes skulls like Colonel Sanders mashes potatoes, and is helped further through the manufacturer bonus of increased critical hit damage and ricocheting bullets. It has extreme one-shot potential, downing mobs in single shots. Often that one shot is enough, but you can always tap into its high semi-automatic fire rate if you find you want more. It's perhaps best on flak with its affinity at hitting crits, and you'll want a dastardly prefix to up its critical damage even further. But any character will have a seriously skull-mashingly good time with the Skullmasher. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned of the top 10 recently buffed legendary weapons of October 2020. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.